Hi, it's Brandon, and welcome to Retro Reactions, a place where I experience amazing music from the 70s, 80s, and 90s for the very first time. And today we're going to be traveling all the way back to 1982 to listen to Drowning Witch and Envelopes by the amazing Frank Zappa. And these are songs 4 and 5 from Ship Arriving Too Late to Save a Drowning Witch. These songs were both apparently recorded live. Drowning Witch features complex and intricate instrumentation and references Stravinsky's The Rite of Spring and the Dragnet TV theme. It uses the story of the drowning witch to offer a scathing commentary on pollution, environmental damage, and the consequences that affect both nature and human lives. And apparently that song transitions seamlessly into Envelopes, so I'll play both together. Envelopes is an instrumental here, but earlier live versions did contain lyrics. Interesting. Anyway, if you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button as well as the notification bell to join the Retro Reactions community where it's all amazing music all the time. And a reminder to check out my Patreon page for exclusive reactions not found here on YouTube, no time era restrictions, and one full album reaction every month. Link is in the description below. All right, here we go. I know it's going to be a crazy ride.
There's a ship arriving too late to save a drowning witch. She was swimming along, trying to keep a date with a merchant marine. I told her he was really rich, but it doesn't matter no more. She's on the ocean floor, and the water's all green down there, and it's not very clean down there. And water snakes and rusty wrecks is all that she can see. And the light goes dim, and she's trying to swim. Will she make it? Why, we sure hope so. Not even a witch ought to be caught on the bottom of America's spew-infested waterways. Hey, hey, she could get radiation all over her. She could mutate insanely. She could mutate insanely. That's right. You know, she could go on the freeway and grow up to be 15 feet tall and scary looking. And then cars can crash all over the place as a result of people with white shirts on. Looking up to see her face, sardines in her eyebrows, lobsters up and down her forehead, all of them horribly large from radiation, and smelling very bad and dangerous. Maybe a submarine could save her and bring her home to the Navy for some kind of ritual sacrifice.
Or witch. heard a guitar throw up before. Yes, percussion. vibes. The energy continues right into the final song on the album, which we won't do today. Wow. A classic case of expect the unexpected with Frank Zappa. And even then, the unexpected is way more than you can imagine or not imagine. You know what I mean? Insane, amazing ride, of course. Insanity is the word of the day. Really nice to hear, I think, basically my first 80s Frank Zappa. Of course, I know Valley Girl from the radio, from my childhood. And it's insane to believe that that song is on this exact same album. Couldn't be any more different. Wow. Yeah, I had read some opinions before online on different forums about especially Drowning Witch. And wow, what I heard lived up to all the hype. Just such a complex song, so intricate. Just like I mentioned before in my intro. Crazy. And it's hard to remember that all this was done live. I mean, the execution by everyone, just like Inca Roads, I remember that one being insanely good. Just wow. So we start with an explosion of live funk, and really the whole thing was a random, haphazard explosion of bizarre musical glory, and I loved it. Of course, it took me everywhere. It brought out all these emotions in me, some that I rarely get because of the craziness, but it's Frank Zappa, so if I would expect that from anyone, it would certainly be him. I did catch a lot of the lyrics in the beginning about the witch's story. Humorous, so insanely original, so striking, and then you add Frank's delivery of those lyrics, crazy, experimental, fun as heck. So much percussion for years in this song. I loved it. In Drowning Witch, it was either a xylophone or marimba, I'm not sure, but it was so plentiful, so prominent. I adored every note. Whoever it was, insanely good. Plenty of insane, unique bass lines shining through the whole song. So much uniqueness and originality here. Again, it's Frank. Then we get to that first wailing guitar solo. Wow, jaw-dropping, enthralling yet menacing at the same time. It felt like the guitar was going through the 10 stages of insanity. Wow, just what a unique treat for my ears. Almost too much to handle, but of course, excellently delivered and so original. And then, one of my favorite parts, those splashes of electric piano here and there, going up the scale, simple chords. Wow, giving such extreme contrast to that insane guitar that was happening, a perfect combination. Just the sounds and tones that guitar was creating, wow. You might not have heard me. I said it during the song. I've never heard a guitar throw up before, but that's what part of it sounded like. Again, so original. All the music, especially the guitar, was like dragging my soul about. I'm not in control. Wow, insanely captivating. This is one of those songs. It's happened, several times on the channel that it would take 1,000+ listens to catch it all, to hear every note, to memorize it. I don't know if it's even possible to memorize a song like Drowning Witch, but wow, incredible. And again, those splashes of electric piano, so plentiful. Every time they happened, it lit up my soul. And then the electric guitar just continues by Frank. Even more electric guitar regurgitation, we'll call it. It felt like it was spewing 1 million notes between the two songs. I don't know, crazy. It was a thesis or a dissertation of a conversation that guitar was having. And all along, these excellent beats and grooves to just back up all the insanity happening. What a song. I like how we end with this really nice, soft keyboard melody to take us out. Very different from everything else. Kind of calmed us down. Oh, but the insanity continues as we just dart right into envelopes. Of course, I love the sharp and aggressive keyboard melodies that were happening on the left and the right. The whole song was bizarre, kind of relentless. It wouldn't let up on my ears, my brain, my soul. Of course, I love the dark moments. There was several dark moments here. They just came. I know at the end there was a huge dark moment. Can't wait to hear that again. Also, these really cool knocking percussive elements. Rapid. Just so original. I was even getting like a rapid ear massage, whatever was happening there. I don't know if it was the keys or the percussion, but everything was just going crazy. I loved it. Just insanity to the very end for these two songs. Only Frank, only Frank. Yeah, so I'll judge these two songs together as one, and they're both easily getting the Epic Platinum Record Award, absolutely, for Drowning Witch and Envelopes by Frank Zappa, 1982, and thank you so very much. The insanely good Frank Zappa, Steve Vai, I've heard that name, and everyone else involved in these insane songs. All right, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment down below. If you wish to chat about these two, I would love to know what you think. So you take care, stay safe, stay hydrated, and remember to let peace, calm, and light into your day and night. And I'll see you next time in the past.